Welcome back. Today we're servicing this Bomber Z4. These are made 99 to 01. And we have our Marzocchi casting numbers. This one's a 98. It's actually a 99. They're always 1 year behind. And the 2001s as well, they had preload adjuster knobs. These obviously don't have them. They're just a bolt under this little rubber seal. Some tools you're gonna need are an adjustable wrench, a pick, some Allen keys, some clip pliers, and a 15mm socket with an extendo. All right, now first thing we're gonna do, we're just gonna pop off this little clip here. You don't need to unscrew anything. Just pop it off to get it out the way so we can unthread these, and that's gone. All right, now you wanna take out the stanchions. For this, you can just use a rubber mallet, just unthread these bolts right here and just tap these out. The reason we need to take these out is because there's a lip right here on the crown. There's also a lip right here where the top cap is, and if you try to unscrew it in the crown, it's just gonna hit that and never come out. All right, now just unscrew your top caps, and I would only unscrew one at a time so it's easier to pour out the oil and so it doesn't really go everywhere. It's kind of hard with two at the same time. Now once you have screwed your top cap, just push the stanchion down and you'll be able to remove your spring. All right, now just pouring out the oil. I always like to put it in a smaller container just to see if it's water contaminated or something else. And a little tip, just cycle the fork up and down to get more oil out. All right, now it's time to take the lowers off of the stanchions, and just go right here at the bottom. We have our big bolts down there. Now these vary in size. Some of them are 17mm, some are 15. Mine are 15, so just grab a socket with an extension and pop them loose. And if your bolt doesn't really want to come out and the damper in there is spinning, just grab your spring and just kind of compress it down like this to put some pressure on it. It should come right out. Get the oil draining out, and grab your stanchions and pull them out. There we go. All right, now time for the damper rod. It's pretty simple. You just grab your clip pliers. You can also use a pick. Pop off this clip. Both the dampers are the same on both sides. And then just pop out the rest of the stuff. First there's this big washer spacer thing, and then comes the damper rod right here. All right, now it's time to clean. We got everything all nice and taken apart. I showed you how to take these damper rods apart. They're very simple. Just go like this, pop everything off. As you can tell, all this oil is all old and contaminated. It's all dark. Thankfully, it's really easy to take off. You just get a paper towel and you just clean it right off. It comes off very easily. It's not like dirt. And as for the lowers here, you want to clean them out as well. You can either get a screwdriver or like some long pliers like this, put a paper towel on them, get some alcohol or acetone and clean down in there. You want to make sure you get all the contaminated oil out. Also, we have the wiper seals here. I checked them. They're in very good condition. They're still healthy. They're still, they're not cracked or anything, so we're not going to be replacing them. They're pretty easy to replace. All bombers have the same way of replacing them, so if you want to go check out another one of my bomber videos. So yeah, these weren't leaking any oil. They're not cracked. They're still healthy. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? All right, so now I'm just going to show you all how to clean off the top cap. You want to pop off this little rubber O-ring seal, whatever it's called. You can use like a razor blade or a pick. And grab your adjuster, screw it out. Just clean off the threads with some brake cleaner and lube them up with some Stram butter or oil, and yeah, you're good to go. And also make sure to lubricate the seal as well, and the seal right here. So yeah, just put some Stram butter on the end of this, on the end of the threads there. You can put some in here as well, and you put some on that O-ring, and yeah, just screw it right in. And just screw it in to right about there. And also one more thing, you want to clean these little foot nuts here because this is where the oil goes. A lot of the dirt in the fork, it goes to the bottom of the fork where this is right here where the seal is. So there's a lot of dirt under there. You want to pop that off, clean it. And when you slide it back on, just put some Stram butter right here in this little groove. Grab the O-ring. Pop it on and then lube the outside as well. There you go. All right, now finally we've got everything all nice and cleaned down. Everything cleaned up pretty easily. It was just oil that was on there. No harsh dirt. So we got our crown all nice and polished up. And now we have the damper rods. Yeah, you want to make sure you get the orientation right on these. These cleaned up really well. There's the plastic bushing right here. I'd recommend to pop it off, clean under there as well. Got the spring. We have this little washer. But this thing, you want to make sure the little lip faces towards the spring. That way, this just pops off pretty easily. And yeah, there you go. And also we waxed our lowers. pops out pretty nice. So yeah, there we go. And remember, any aftermarket parts, like these seals here, the wiper seals and the oil seals, I have a link for those in the description, as well as anything else that's related to this fork. And remember, you can use my code RETROREV for 10% off the bomber seals. All right, now it's time for assembly. We're just gonna use the SRAM butter, just grease up the inside of the stanchion. You wanna make sure it's clean as well. You wanna grease up the glide bushing, slide bushing, whatever, and pop it in. You wanna make sure you get the grease past that groove, because that's actually where it's gonna slide. So just pop that in. All this is gonna be soaked in oil when we put the oil in, obviously. All right, so now you wanna make sure that silver cap goes all the way down. You wanna be able to see the little groove where the clip goes into. It goes in like this, that little groove facing up. You grab your clip and just pop it in. There we go. All right, now we got both the damper rods done. Remember, the both sides of this fork are exactly identical, so no worries there. You want to lube up all your seals and bushings down there. You want to have that thing with all the holes. That's called the bomber bushing. You want that to be lubed up. Remember, this will be all submersed in oil, so just put a little bit on there just to minimize wear when we're putting it together, and to, you know, have it be a little more smooth. I would lube up the stanchions also a little bit as well, just around the sides. It's gonna make the fork a lot easier to put together when the stanchions are, you know, out individually. So yeah, just go like this, pop them in, make sure the seal isn't folded over, and yeah, there you go. Slide in your stanchion. And just go up and down and make sure it goes nice and smooth. All right, so now it's time to put in these foot nuts. Again, remember, you want to lubricate that O-ring with some SRAM butter. And to help you out, you can grab your spring. You want to put pressure on the damper rod down there so they don't retreat back into the stanchion. You grab your 15 mil socket and screw it in. It could be a 17 mil on some other models as well. All right, you see now we got our foot nuts in place. Again, you don't want to over tighten these because they're all aluminum, and threads are aluminum as well, I believe. And yeah, you just want it to be snug. That's it. All right, now it's time to fill the oil. I'm just using 7.5 weight. That's what the manual recommends. And you want to fill it until it's about 50 millimeters below this top of the stanchion. And you want to have the stanchion all the way down as far as it'll go. You don't want any springs or anything in there. And as you can tell, it's going to be about the same level as where the oil seal is. So if you want, you can just eyeball it, but you can just get like a tape measure like this, just put it to 50 mils, and then just put it down and just see if there's a little bit of oil on the edge. And now you have your little dipstick right there. There you go. And while you're doing this, you also want to cycle the oil up and down, because it's going to want to burp out all the air that's in the rest of the fork. You want to do it slowly because it could just spit out at you. And if you can see the air bubbles coming out, they're probably already out. And again, you could eyeball it just about where the wiper seal ends. That's where the oil level should be. It's about 50 millimeters. Another website recommends 45. So if you get it somewhere in that range, you should be all good to go. And then yeah, just make sure you cycle it. Make sure you get all the air out. And pull the stanchions all the way up, like so. All right, now once you got the stanchions all the way up, you want to grab your springs. You want a part that is like very narrow. You want that at the top. So yeah, grab them, pop them in. Now we got our washers, and pop them in as well. You want to make sure they seat down flat like this. All right, now you want to grab your top caps. Again, you want to lubricate that big O-ring with some SRAM butter, and you want to make sure that tip isn't too far out so it's easier for you to screw in. And yeah, and go ahead and just screw them in. And now just tighten down your top caps. You don't want them very tight. The manual says only 12 Newton meters. Yeah, and you just want them snug. And now a little hack to get the crown back onto the fork. You just compress it down very slowly, and it'll just pop in like that. All right, now we got our bolts here. These are only 9 Newton meters. You go ahead and screw those in. Make sure you get this nut all the way up. Then you want to tighten it down. Just have it snug. Make sure it's could be kind of hard to tighten without the crown on. And there's also this clip. These are in theory to prevent the stanchions from going down, but they won't go down because of this lip. And yeah, pop on the clip, and there. And yeah, there you go. Now you got yourself a fully rebuilt Bomber Z4. Check it out. Yeah, you just want to cycle it up and down, make sure it moves nice and smooth. This is how it should sound. And as a cherry on top, I like to add some of this fork boost lube. It makes the fork feel a lot smoother. It makes it last longer. Makes the seals not crack as fast. And yeah, it just improves the fork in general. I do this whether there's old seals or new ones. So yeah, I recommend it. Not sponsored. So yeah, this fork is very straightforward to rebuild. Both sides are exactly the same. So yeah, I'll have all the links to all the parts and the manual as well in the description. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.